Hey, so we're going to recap Week 14's game. We'll start off with the Bills and the Buccaneers. Bills traveling to Tampa Bay. Not much of a game. Mike Glennon, not just 9 of 25, 2 touchdowns and 2 picks. But Buccaneers carried by Bobby Rennie, 22 carries, 127 yards, and an 80-yard touchdown run. For the Bills, E.J. Manuel, 18 of 33, 184 yards, and no touchdowns, but 4 interceptions. 2 going to Levante David, 1 going to Mason Foster, and then 1 going to the rookie cornerback from Mississippi, Jonathan Banks. So really hard day for E.J. Manuel. The Bills dropped to 4-9. The Buccaneers get another win. They move up to 4-9, and E.J. Manuel was sacked 7 times on the day. 7 sacks. 4 picks, not a great day for the rookie quarterback. Very impressive play by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Vincent Jackson, leading receiver, 3 catches for 70 yards and a 38-yard touchdown. Very impressive performance by the Buccaneer offense. It looks like Mike Glennon might be the quarterback of the future for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. On to the next game, Atlanta and Green Bay. This was a game. Packers trailed 21-10 at halftime. Matt Flynn as the quarterback, and it looked like the Packers were going to lose. But Matt Flynn leading the team back in the second half. Falcons scored 0 points in the second half. The Packers scored 12, and they win it 22-21. Matt Flynn 24 of 32, 258. 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Eddie Lacy, 20 carries for 65 yards and a touchdown. For the Falcons, Matt Ryan was 20 of 35, 206 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. The interception went to Mike Neal of the Green Bay Packers. Packers 6-1. Falcons fall to 3-10, and with the Bears win and Lions loss, the Packers are still in the hunt for the division, and while it's not official yet, Aaron Rodgers might be returning this week against the Dallas Cowboys, which would be a huge lift for the Green Bay Packers at this point in the year. On to the next game, very still exciting game, even though it was very rough for one of the teams. The Bengals just demolishing the Indianapolis Colts in Cincinnati. Bengals 42, Colts 28. It wasn't much of a game early on, although the Colts did score a few more garbage time touchdowns to make the score look a little bit more respectable. Andrew Luck threw 4 touchdowns in a losing effort, and the Colts, though, because of a Titans loss, the Colts did clinch the division and still sit at 4th seed in the playoffs, so they still are in it in terms of the playoffs. Andy Dalton, 24 of 35, 275 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he also scored a rushing touchdown. Andrew Luck, 29 of 46, 326 yards and 4 touchdowns. Derrick Rogers of the Colts, backup receiver, 6 catches, 107 yards and 2 touchdowns. LeVon Brazil, 3 catches for 53 yards and 2 more touchdowns. For the Bengals, A.J. Green leading the receiver, 6 catches, 72 yards and a touchdown. Marvin Jones had 60 yards and a touchdown. And Jermaine Gresham had 41 yards and a touchdown. The Indianapolis Colts did not record a sack, and neither did the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals 9-4, Colts fall to 8-5. Next game, Eagles, Lions, playing in Philadelphia, whole bunch of snow. Probably biggest highlight from this game, LaShawn McCoy rushed for a franchise best 217 yards, including touchdowns of 57 and 40 yards. Eagles win it 34-20, despite 2 kickoff returns by Jeremy Ross of the Detroit Lions. The Eagles continue to win with Nick Foles. The Eagles move to 8-5. Lions fall to 7-6. Nick Foles, 11 of 22, 179 yards and a touchdown. He did throw a pick and was a touchdown away from tying Peyton Manning's record. Sean McCoy, 29 carries, 217 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Riley Cooper led receivers, 3 catches for 74 yards, although Deshaun Jackson did have the touchdown. For the Lions, Matthew Stafford had a pretty miserable day, 10 of 25 for just 148 yards, and Calvin Johnson was held to just 3 catches, 49 yards. Matthew Stafford had a pretty hard time holding onto the ball. He fumbled 5 times, lost 1, and he recovered 1. Joique Bell also losing 2 fumbles and recovering 1. He did rush for 69 yards on 23 carries and scoring the Lions' only offensive touchdown. Again, Jeremy Ross having a pretty big day. 2 return touchdowns, 1 on a punt return and 1 on a kick return, but in a losing effort. Lions only scored 12 points in the second half, and they only scored 8 points in the first half. Eagles put up 28 points in the fourth quarter after being down 14-6 at the end of the third. And on to the next game, Baltimore and Minnesota. NFL record 6 lead changes, all off of touchdowns. It looked a little rough for the Minnesota Vikings early on. Adrian Peterson getting injured. In the first quarter did not return. Toby Gerhart did pretty well in his stead, 15 carries for 89 yards and a 41-yard touchdown. Matt Castle in place of Christian Ponder, 17 of 38, 265 yards and 2 touchdowns. Cordero Patterson, 141 yards and a 79-yard touchdown. For the Ravens, Flacco, 28 of 50, 245 yards, 3 touchdowns. He also threw 3 really bad picks. Marlon Brown with the game winner with 8 seconds left. He had 92 yards in that touchdown. Dennis Pitta, his first game back from short-term IR, 48 yards and a touchdown. And Ed Dixon, 8 yards and a touchdown. Jacoby Jones returning kickoff, 77 yards for a touchdown. And the Ravens forcing 3 fumbles of the Minnesota Vikings. Ravens moved to 7-6, Vikings fall to 3-9-1, and the Ravens are still at 6 with the 6th seed. On to the next game, New England and the Cleveland Browns. New England getting down 19-3 in the third quarter, and as they've done so many times this year, Tom Brady led them back. Probably the biggest news from this game isn't even the Patriots' comeback win itself, but the injury to Rob Gronkowski, injured early in the game. T.J. Ward taking a shot at Gronkowski's knee. Gronkowski ACL, MCL, he's out for the year. Josh Gordon snapped his 200-yard game streak. He did have 7 catches, 151 yards, and an 80-yard touchdown. Jason Campbell had a pretty good game, thrown for 391 yards and 3 touchdowns. But Billy Cundiff, with about 5 seconds left, missed a 59-yarder at the end, and the Patriots get the win. Patriots move to 10-3, Browns fall to 4-9, and the Patriots get the Dolphins next week. And if they win and a few losses by other teams, Patriots could wrap up the AFC East for another consecutive year. Tom Brady, 32 of 52, 418 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Patriots got almost nothing on the ground. Garrett Blount, leading rusher, just 8 carries for 42 yards. Shane Vereen, Patriots leading receiver, 12 catches for 153 yards. His impact on those receivers has been huge, and he's been a favorite target of Tom Brady. Julian Edelman, 6 catches for 64 yards and a touchdown. And Danny Amendola catching the game winner. Gronkowski had 2 catches for 32 yards before he left the game. Patriots recording 1 sack of the Browns. The Browns, though, recording 4 sacks, 2 by free agent signee Paul Kruger. So inspiring performance by the Cleveland Browns, but Tom Brady gets another comeback win, gets the Patriots in a better position to clinch the AFC East. Next game, another AFC East game, Dolphins, going to Pittsburgh, and despite all the off-field drama, the Dolphins have won 3 of the last 4 games, and they're still in the race for the 6th seed in the AFC. Look like the Dolphins are going to lose. They got down early. They were leading at 10-7 at halftime. The Steelers ripped off 2 touchdowns, a 43-yarder from Big Ben Antonio Brown, and then Troy Polamalu getting a 19-yard pick 6. But the Miami Dolphins staying in it. Charles Clay, a 12-yard touchdown from Ryan Tannehill. Then Caleb Sturgis, a 27-yard field goal. The Steelers actually were in a position to win. No time left. Big Ben did a nice lateral on the final play. Lateraled it around to Jericho Cotchery, to a few offensive linemen, and to Antonio Brown, who got all the way down to the 15-yard line and then stepped out of bounds. Big Ben finished 23 of 39 for 349 yards and 3 touchdowns. Antonio Brown, 137 receiving yards and a touchdown. Cotchery, 62 yards and a receiving touchdown. And Emmanuel Sanders, 57 yards and a touchdown. Ryan Tannehill, 20 of 33 for 200 yards, 3 touchdowns and an interception. Daniel Thomas getting it done on the ground for the Dolphins, 16 carries, 105 yards and a touchdown, and a long of 55. Charles Clay leading the Dolphins, 97 yards and 2 touchdowns. Brian Hartline, 51 yards and a touchdown. And Mike Wallace, just 2 catches for 19 yards. Defensively, Dolphins recording 3 sacks of Big Ben, and the Steelers recorded 3 sacks of Ryan Tannehill, 2 by Jason Werlitz. Steelers fall to 5-8. Dolphins move up to 7-6. On to one of the few blowouts. Kansas City and the Redskins. Chiefs travel to Washington, and this was not much of a game. Chiefs on a 3-game losing streak, and it wasn't the offense or the defense that got them the win. The special teams. Chiefs 321 return yards. Scored a kickoff return touchdown and a punt return touchdown. 95-yard kickoff return after Redskins touchdown, and then Dexter McCluster on a 78-yard punt return touchdown. Really just gave the Chiefs the win. Alex Smith, 14 of 20, 137 yards and 2 touchdowns. Didn't have to do much because the Chiefs were constantly starting Redskins territory. Jamal Charles, 19 carries, 151 yards and a touchdown. And Niall Davis scoring his first career touchdown on a 17-yard scamper. And that would pretty much do it for the running game for the Chiefs. Bo, 69 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. And Jamal Charles catching a 5-yard screen. For the Redskins, another hard day for RG3, 12 of 26, 164 through the air touchdown, and an interception by Derek Johnson. Aldrick Robinson, 4 catches for 67 yards. And that would do it through the air for the Redskins. And Alfred Morris held to 31 yards on 12 carries. Chief defense shutting them down there. Chief defense recording 6 sacks, 2 by Hali, 2 by Tyson Jackson, the 1 on a safety blitz by Eric Berry. Chiefs moved to 10-3, and while they probably won't get the division, they look to lock up the number 5 seed, and they play Oakland this week. The Washington Redskins have to play. Washington Redskins have to play it this week. Gotta figure that out. The Redskins gotta play. Washington Redskins. Hold on, I'm working on it. Washington Redskins have to play. Redskins have to play at Atlanta this week. I'm on to the next game. Denver and Tennessee. Look like the Titans might pull off the upset, but as always this year, the Bronco offense was just unstoppable. Broncos put up 51 points, including 31 in the second half, on route to a 58-28 rout of the Tennessee Titans. Manning 39 of 59, 397, 4 touchdowns. Moreno getting it done on the ground, 78 yards and a touchdown. And Monty Ball, 77 yards on the ground and a touchdown. Decker had 117 yards and a touchdown. Demaryius Thomas had 88 yards and a touchdown. Wes Welker had 61 yards and a touchdown. And Julius Thomas had 35 yards and a touchdown. Matt Prater, breaking the record, setting a new one, 64-yard field goal just before halftime, 64-yarder after the 63-yarder had been tied last year by David Akers. Prater broke it. Now he holds the record. For the Titans, Fitzpatrick, 13 of 24, only 172 yards, a touchdown and an interception. Chris Johnson, 12 carries, 46 yards and a touchdown. Did have a costly fumble late in the fourth quarter. Sean Green, 9 carries, same amount of yards, but he did score 2 touchdowns. Justin Hunter, rookie, had 4 catches, 114 yards, and a touchdown, a 57-yard. There was his longest catch. Titans recording 0 sacks of Manning. Broncos getting 2 sacks. Marlon Jackson and Von Miller recording the sacks. Broncos moved to 11-2. Titans fall to 5-8, and they are also eliminated from the playoff race. On to a big NFC West showdown. Not Seahawks-Niners, Cardinals-Rams, and despite the fact the Rams have a very good defense, their offense really did not give them any room to work. Carson Palmer had another very good day, 27 of 32 for 269 yards, and he threw 1 touchdown. That was to Larry Fitzgerald. Cardinals win it 30-10. Rams offense only getting a rushing touchdown from Zach Stacy later in the second half. That was all they got on offense. Colin Clemens, 16 of 27, 181 yards, threw 2 interceptions. 1 game return for a touchdown. That was Carlos Dansby. Andre Ellington and Rashard Mendenhall combining for 28 carries, 87 yards, and 2 touchdowns on the ground. Larry Fitzgerald, 12 catches, 96 yards, and a touchdown. Tyrann Mathieu getting injured on a punt return. He's out for the year with ACL. The Cardinals racking up 4 sacks on Kellen Clemens, 3 of them by the veteran John Abraham. Cardinals move to 8-5. Rams fall to 5-8, and the Cardinals are still in the race for the last wild card spot in the NFC. One note though, Tavon Austin did have a big rush, 1 carry for 56 yards, got it down into the red zone for the Rams' only touchdown drive. Next game, Chargers-Giants. Eli Manning playing the team that drafted him back in 2004. And this wasn't much of a game either. Chargers winning it by a score of, I believe, 37-14. Just really, Chargers is dominating throughout the entire game. Phillip Rivers having a good game, throwing 2 touchdown passes to Keenan Allen, and then throwing another one to Danny Woodhead. Eli Manning struggling all day, throwing an interception. Keenan Allen got injured in the second quarter. He wound up coming back into the game and wound up getting another receiving touchdown. Phillip Rivers, 21 of 28, 249 yards, 3 touchdown passes. Ryan Matthews, 29 carries on the ground, 103 yards, and a touchdown. Big game for him. And Keenan Allen, Danny Woodhead catching all 3 of those touchdowns. Eli Manning, 20 of 32, 259 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. That touchdown going to Brandon Myers. Keenan Nix, 5 catches, 135 yards, no touchdowns. Had a 40-yard catch on a Hail Mary play just before halftime. No touchdown out of that one. Giants fall to 5-8. Chargers move to 6-7. And the Chargers are still in the race for the last AFC wildcard spot. Chargers recording 2 sacks of Eli Manning. The Giants recording 2 sacks of Phillip Rivers, both by Justin Tuck. Per marquee matchup of the week, Seahawks and Niners. Seahawks dismantling the New Orleans Saints on Monday night. Niners coming off a win, and with the NFC West crown at stake, Niners hope to knock off their red-hot rivals. And this outside of the game, it looked like the Seahawks might get the win, but they forgot about the man named Frank Gore. Seahawks did a pretty good job on offense, but their defense gave up a few big runs. Kaepernick was 15 of 29 for 175 yards, just one touchdown. But it was Frank Gore, 17 carries for 110 yards, and a 51-yarder with under 4 minutes in the fourth quarter. Gave the Niners a goal-to-go opportunity. They killed the clock, took it down from 3 minutes to 26 seconds to give the Niners the win. Russell Wilson, 15 of 25, 199 yards, touchdown, and a pick. That touchdown going to Luke Wilson, who had 70 receiving yards on the day. Marshall Lynch, 20 carries for 72 yards and an 11-yard touchdown. Seahawks fall to 11-2. Niners go to 9-4 and are still in NFC wild card. The Sunday night game, Panthers 8-game winning streak. Saints coming off that big Monday night loss, and the Saints show no ill effects of that loss. Saints pretty much dominating the Panthers from start to finish. Drew Brees throwing 4 touchdown passes, 2 to Marcus Colston, 1 to Darren Sproles, and then 1 to Jimmy Graham. Cam Newton sacked 5 times on the night, unable to get anything done. They didn't score a touchdown till late in the fourth quarter. Steve Smith held to just 4 catches for around 30 yards. Really inspiring performance by the Saints. They were able to get a win and move up in the division. And even with the Panthers' recent success, looks like the Saints might be able to clinch the division. They play the Panthers not this week, but next week in a divisional rematch. Panthers defense played well in the first quarter. Offense only scored 2 field goals, and then from that point on, it was all Saints. Brees completing passes left and right. The Panthers' running game was almost a non-factor, not able to run, and then when the Saints got up early, the Panthers abandoned the run. Panthers fall after the 8-game winning streak. The streak is snapped. The Saints now 10 wins on the season, and they have a pretty good chance of winning the division. Cam Newton having a pretty rough day, unable to complete a lot of passes, and he didn't run as much as he normally does. Saints were able to shut down the read option pretty well. And the Panthers, though, still in the playoff race, but the division chances are weakened, but they still have a good chance at the number 5 or number 6 seed. And the final game from Monday, that'd be the Bears and the Cowboys. Josh McCown scoring 5 touchdowns, 4 passing, and 1 on the ground. Tony Romo only completed 2 passes to Dez Bryant for just 12 yards. They did score a touchdown. Cowboys losing it 45-28. Just manhandled on the ground. Matt Forte over 100 rushing yards on the game, scoring a touchdown. Michael Bush also scoring touchdown. Bears getting 3 sacks of Tony Romo, and more importantly for the Cowboys, Romo now falls to 11-16 in December games. Gets a tough matchup against the Green Bay Packers this Sunday. Just might have their man Aaron Rodgers back on the field. So pretty good week in football this week. Lot of big games, a lot of division clinching games. Broncos did clinch a playoff berth. Few teams eliminated. Bills eliminated. Titans eliminated. Rams eliminated. Giants also eliminated from playoff contention in their respective conferences. Just pretty rough for some teams. Panthers losing at 31-13. Just got the score, losing at 31-13. Keynotes for this week. Packers, Mike and Aaron Rodgers back. We're still waiting for the extent of Sean Lee's injury. Cowboys middle linebacker got injured again last week, and we are unsure if he'll be able to play this week. Adrian Peterson, unlikely to play this week against the Eagles, meaning Toby Gerhardt looks to get another start. Mike Shanahan's future with the Redskins in some serious question after losing another game. They've just been struggling all year, and with RG3 clearly not healthy, and with the offense and defense's team as a whole struggling, Mike Shanahan might be on his way out, along with his offensive coordinator brother, Kyle Shanahan. This week 15 gets kicked off on Thursday night. Chargers and Broncos in divisional showdown. Probably mostly offense in that game, although both teams do tout some star players on defense. For the Broncos, of course, Von Miller. For the Chargers, Eric Weddle. Devereaux Frazier, and I'll be with you guys hopefully either sometime Wednesday night, or maybe Thursday morning or Thursday night, for a preview of Thursday's games. And that's it for me.